Yo, what's going on? It's your boy King J, and I'm here with special guests here today. Fighting game legends. We got Justin Wong, Kizzie K, Lord Knight, and today I want to talk about modern fighting games, like the direction it's going in. So, like the DLC, what's been packed in these games from like how it was before, and yeah, I just want to know what you lot think about modern fighting games, like just in general, how they've changed from how the games were from before to how they are now. What do you lot think about it? We'll start with Justin Wong. What's going on?
Modern fighting games, I feel like it changed a lot for a lot of people. Obviously, more people are into it. It's more accessible. It's obviously, easier to play as well too. So I personally like it. But I'm also coming from like an old school era where like, I kind of love just like the hard, dumb, broken fighting game shit. And obviously now with modern fighting game, there's also patches that will change stuff when people bitch enough on Twitter. So there's always that. But in general, I think it's in a very good place. Like obviously we have Street Fighter 6, MK1, Tekken 8. Now, with Grand Blue versus Rising just went through with the beta. Under Night is also this weekend. King of Fighters 15 still pumping out DLC content, and they all have something in common where it's like we want to make fighting games easier for people who don't really know how to play fighting games to be interested in playing fighting games, because fighting games are very discouraging. I can definitely think that like a lot of people just play one night, they realize they suck, they probably don't want to play anymore, right? So now it's like, how do we make it where it's like they don't feel like it's a complete impossible 10-0 matchup, uphill battle when fighting someone better against them? And that's with like specific battle mechanics that they can add to the game, where it can sort of be an equalizer at times. um but I still think it's a good thing because it brought so many new faces to our genre for sure.
Interesting. Lord Knight, what's your answer to that question?
So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out that's really good. So depending on what you're into, as long like depending on what you're into, you have the choice of playing what you want, which is very very good. In the past, you might not necessarily have the type of game you would want to play or the franchise that you would want to play. If you're lucky and you were playing a big one or something that never stopped, then you're chilling. But there's some games where maybe there'd be like a gap or you might not be able to play for a really long time. So that's cool. And it's really easy to play it online, which is also cool. And also most games now are overall more fair than old games, for better or for worse. There's some asterisk characters that exist on this planet, like Happy Chaos, but for the most part, I think they do a really good job of balancing stuff. Patches are good and bad. Also, basically, it's like good and bad. Like the best thing is that we could just play, and they're still making stuff, and things are keeping up, and things are going well. And most of the downsides, like say patches, are like kind of annoying on one hand, especially if you're playing a game where they'll actually patch because of Twitter. I don't think that's a lot of games though, to be fair. But on the other hand, like all the regions get the games at the same time, like everything's just being distributed at the same time. Everyone can play evenly. Everyone can play together. If you're interested in competing, there's an outlet for you. If you're interested in playing casually, this is the best thing about modern fighting games, and not like 2015, like 2019. If you just want to like play RPG mode, you can just do that. So right now there's a lot of options. So I think that's probably the best thing for everybody is that you can just do the thing that you want to do.
Fair enough. Kizzy K,
Hmm.
what's your answer to it, man?
So yeah, I actually think modern fighting games right now is getting to like a really good spot for many reasons why. So obviously we have like great net code. There's a lot of things to do rather than just playing versus somebody, right? So like I feel like a lot of games now are starting to up their like single player content. So with Street Fighter we got like World Tour mode. Grand Blue was a modern game, modern fighting game that came out 3 years ago, and obviously. during the pandemic, it wasn't as accessible as it should have been. But now it's coming out. Not only we got more single player content, and also we have they added more mechanics so people can have a chance to win and things like that. But what I really like is they also kept like the identity of like what they wanted the game to be to a certain extent, which is really nice. And you know, that right there for me personally is like so great. And I really hope that as these modern fighting games progress, that we get more content for new players and also like competitive players. You know, as far as like patches and things like that, I do like how some games patch their game. You know, like for example, I think Street Fighter 6. I would like more patch updates for like things to do, like outfits and stuff like that, like things to like work towards, you know, rather than like change of the game. And right now, the game is in a really good spot, I feel, and it can only get better as the game progresses and things like that. So, um, as far as like another thing too, it's like all games, even some games that were like you know, a lot of indie games are being a lot of like accessible for new players and things like that. So I really like that even indie games are very like considering like not only the community that they're trying to push their game for, but also like, you know, very easy to get into. Like, you know, Pocket Bravery came out, cool content, cool, a lot of cool stuff. And you know, one of the things they added when the game released was simple inputs and things like that, and I thought that was really cool. So you know, not only it's like hardcore for the fans, but you know, we get a lot of diverse for people who just want to come in and just, you know, play the story. You want to do time attack, or you know, maybe they just want to go online and just hit buttons. So I'm really liking the progression of the content that we're getting for these games that we're spending $70, $50 for.
Okay, cool. So that brings me on to a question that I want to segue from. So, do you feel like adding, you know, auto combos, easier controls, do you think that allows like, you know, casuals to stay in these fighting games for longer?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like, cause I think combos are pretty hard for people to understand. Even doing like motion inputs, like doing quarter circle forward or shoryuken, it's actually quite tough for people who don't have experience fighting games because I think the first thing that they think about when playing fighting games is mashing, mashing buttons. Like it's a God of War type of game. I don't know why people just assume mashing is the way to play fighting games. It's crazy because when I was a kid, I mashed as well when it came to a fighting game. So it just made sense. Mash, mash, mash. But obviously, that's far from the case on how to play a fighting game correctly. So I think kind of like the start of like auto combos was like, yeah, you can mash, but eventually, like it's just not gonna work anymore, right? It's kind of like you reach a roadblock where eventually you fight against people who are doing different stuff, and you're like, wait, why is that combo different from the way I'm mashing my combo? Right? And it's kind of like how Street Fighter 6, because I was talking to people, and they were telling me that like yeah, the reason why modern mode exists is for people to come in the game because they have like these auto assist combos and everything like that. But they're obviously not optimal, right? And they're hoping that after they play modern and they realize they kind of reach to a specific level where they just can't mash auto combo all day, that they'll get better, maybe try classic or maybe try to experiment with more different combo routes. So it's just kind of it's a way to bridge kind of your that gap of like, okay, I don't know how to play fighting games. Maybe I know how to play fighting games to okay, now I want to learn how to play fighting games into now I know how to play fighting games. That's kind of like the four-step process possibly.
So you feel like it transforms people that have a little bit of interest in fighting games to a lot more interest by just having like kind of these basic tools like auto combos and, you know, modern controls in Street Fighter 6 and stuff like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because when I was playing, my first fighting game was like Marvel's Capcom 1. Like, really, my first fighting game, right? I played like other bullshit fighting games, but I don't really count them. But I would say Marvel's Capcom 1 was like the first time where I realized, okay, I'm doing something wrong. I'm mashing and I'm not getting the same combos that like these other kids are doing. So once I realized how combos work, it just kind of made me wanted to just keep learning different combos, experimenting, and just kind of expanding my mind when it comes to fighting games. So I think once you kind of like get that across to somebody's head, um, when they're mashing, and then and you get them to understand why mashing is bad in fighting games, and that mashing will actually not give you the combo that you want to do, or if you want to do some cool stuff, you have to learn it in a more particular way. It might make people more interested to kind of stay long term when playing fighting games.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Justin Wong. Lord Knight, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, man.
So auto combos, right? Like
Just
I
basic,
played one
like
of the
easier tools, like just the easier
yeah.
tools, like auto combos, easier controls, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean I definitely think it helps new people, Like I played a bunch of I mean I guess Street Fighter 6 is a good example of a new game that has it. But like that was a big part of Dragon Ball was auto combo. A big part of like Persona was auto combo. So these in my head they do like pretty much two or three things really. I think Justin said it really well. If you don't care about the game, you're mashing anyway. So the fact that you get a little something for mashing that like looks cool is fine, And they tend to put these in games that are like based off other stuff, So like being able to like mash jab with Goku into Kamehameha is cool, as opposed to why can't I do Kamehameha with Goku, right? But and then also having the simple inputs. Simple inputs to me is different than auto combos or simplified inputs, like when games only have quarter circles and stuff. And I feel like these do more than one thing at the same time. So I definitely think it does help new people. Like some people are able to learn like a Hadouken really fast, right? But there's more than that. There's like half circles. Some games have like reverse DPs. Some games command grabs like half circle back forward. There's like all these weird inputs. So for the people who are curious and they try to do more, making the hurdle for them to just be able to play the game, just be able to play the game. Not even talking about like how difficult the strategy of the game is, but just so that they could control their character. I don't think is like a bad thing, especially if that's your goal with the game. So I think it'd be way more jarring if like there was a Street Fighter V Season 8 where all of a sudden everyone only has quarter circles. Then they make a new game and like they have just like a certain type of motion, right? Then once you clear that, if you're like serious about the genre, if you're actually good at fighting games, I don't think you should be complaining about the inputs really, unless it's something that's actually unfair. Like I'm trying to think of an example of something that's like like a command grab that doesn't end in forward, or like a DP that doesn't end in forward, like that type of stuff. Outside of that, it's like if you're complaining about easy input, I remember this in Dragon Ball. Like if you're complaining about easy inputs and you're not winning, you need to shut up. You
What
need to
about
shut up. I don't care.
what about 2 button level 3?
2 button level 3. I played Persona. That game had 2 button DP. That game had 2 button DPs, man. Played that game for years. Yeah. If you're not winning and you're complaining, if you're FGC and you're complaining about easy inputs and you're not winning, don't talk to me. I'm not trying to hear your opinion. I do think it helps you people though. I do think it actually helps you people. Jokes aside, I do think it helps.
Nah, I heard enough.
Yeah.
Thank you for your answer. Kizzie K, let me know what you think about that, man. Like, do you think easier, like, stuff like modern controls or auto combos, do you think like this is the way forward? Do you think this is like what we kind of need in fighting games?
Yeah. So, believe it or not, I feel like there was a lot of old games that actually introduced like modern controls, but I feel like it was not promoted as well as like games now. I feel like the marketing is what is getting more people into like trying out fighting games necessarily. Like I give you an example. So like if you look at like how Street Fighter 6 was like promoted, it was promoted really well. I mean, we got Lil Wayne to tell us that Street Fighter 6 is coming out in June. We got wrestlers that dressed up as like jury and things like that. Like very like huge fans of the series, right? And then on top of that, obviously when we talk and like or when we watch and we listened to like the developers talking about like these control schemes and what it does, and like it like encouraged people to play. I feel like a lot of older games that was not considered modern or modern at that time also had these like controls, but it was not promoted as it is now. So I feel like more of the promotion of like these things is like making it better resident what it was before. Like for example, Blaze Blue had like simple inputs, right? So it was like stylish or what's that, like technical, but nobody really used it, or I wouldn't say used it, but nobody really promoted as like, yo, you could buy this game, and if you want to try a fighting game, you can use these inputs and make it's easier for people who just want to go in and hit buttons. Same as Guilty Gear Revelator or XR. It also had simple inputs, but was not promoted. And so these companies were doing it, and it was really good, and like it just wasn't getting a lot of like a surface notoriety. And now that like these things are becoming a little bit more of a standard, and they're like kind of like balancing games around it, I feel like more people are just like, yeah, I'm on board with this, right? So obviously getting people on board is always good, and finding a middle ground on how to make sure things are not like very overpowered and things like that is also really good too, because even though you make auto combos and like these like controller schemes viable, you still wanted to have like a place where like you just can't abuse things, right? And I think it's funny to see that I feel like there's a lot of casuals, there's a lot of mixed casuals that like, it's a big term of casuals, like, people who are casually fighting game fans, and there's people who never played a fighting game, right? And it's funny to see like the people who are casual that are in like the fighting games, like I would say like the fighting game like world, right? How they feel about like the new control layouts versus the people who kind of comes in for the first time, and they're like, yo, I want to try this out. I just want to hit buttons and have fun, and vice versa. I personally like the slight difference. I do feel like these buttons actually help a lot of people that just don't understand. Like fighting games is really hard, and like as you like progress and like grow up and mature and stuff like that, you realize that like some of the things that you were trying to like tell somebody, this is not like this is like really complicated for a lot of people, and like a lot of people don't have a lot of patience and a lot of time and things like that. So I like that fighting games is finding a balance where it don't have to be time consuming, but it could just be enjoyable. And given these control schemes and things like that, I feel allows you to enjoy the game.
Interesting answers from all three of you, man. I wanted to move on and say, just to raise your hands, do you lot feel like fighting games is eating good right now in terms of what is going on with Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, and Mortal Kombat 1? Or do you feel like there's still room for improvement for the way how fighting games are?
I mean, there's.
Now go for it.
Nah, I was like, I feel like there's other games that are doing better than the three that you named right now.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah, I mean, some betas got crossplay right now.
What game are we talking about?
You could throw a name out. I can tell you that they got crossplay right now.
Better than Street Fighter 6.
I said there are other games that are doing better than some of the threes that you named.
What's doing better? That's what I'm saying. Tell me the title. Like, that's been better than 3.
I mean, I tried Grand Blue Rising. Crossplay was good. Netcode was good. It got crossplay. I think that's already doing better than one of the threes you mentioned right now. Because right now the standard is not, it's not there right now for some games. It should have been part of the package where you spend $70 for a game.
Damn.
I think it's about MK, right?
You're talking
I think
about
MK doesn't have crossplay.
You just gotta say the name.
Yeah.
We're to say the name, bro.
I mean, I thought it was very easy, obvious. I didn't think I had to say it. It was the only game that didn't have it. But I didn't want to like throw it under the bus like that. But I'm just saying.
Throw it under the bus, man. Throw it under.
I'm just
Damn.
saying, man.
Yeah, MK doesn't have crossplay, and also the online's kind of like, it's
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 buggy.
definitely not, not the best type of rollback, that's for sure.
It's an interesting
But
game. It's
yeah,
an interesting game. There's one really big problem. Actually, I was shocked. I've never actually played an MK game. I played Injustice 1 and 2. I was shocked when someone told me this. So like MK is on PS5. That's the tournament standard. I
yeah.
don't have one yet. So I got the game on PC, and I was told that combos do different damage on PC and console
Yeah.
in a lot of cases.
Oh,
And
it's
I
not
was
even
like,
that.
dude. I was
Wait,
like,
that's a
dude.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a different tier list when it comes to PC
When it comes to
side
PC, yeah,
versus
yeah.
PS5,
Bro, that's godlike. Bro,
right?
that sounds like an FPS,
But
like a fight, like a shooter.
but the presentation of the game is great. Like, it's sold well. A lot of people love it. Like on a tournament side, they've got the game's funky, but the game it's
They
doing
all
fine,
they
selling well, popular.
Yeah, they offer a lot of stuff where like a reason why casual players love playing MK stuff, like you said, like there's progression in playing the
Story
game.
mode.
You get skins, you get different character palettes, and that's something that Street Fighter 6 is lacking. Right, Street Fighter 6 we just got avatar costumes. We got no skins for characters, but Mortal Kombat there's like a million skins already that you can get for free on the shrine, or you can spend your the silver coins after playing invasions, or even spending real money with the the dragon crystals to get more exclusive skins. So I think there's pros and cons on both sides. And I would say Tekken 8. I mean, Tekken 8 looks great. They just announced Reina, but I mean, I heard that netcode in the last beta was really bad. Like that, I didn't play it, but I heard it was really bad. Um, so they still need to work on some things for Tekken. I'm not sure what they're also offering. I know they got the little like Xbox 360 avatar battle hub thing going on. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you compare like World Tour mode, like Street Fighter 6, that's just Street Fighter 6 really knocked it out the park with that, right? So I'm not sure how I
Damn,
feel about the
Justin.
second one.
Damn, bro. That's my game, bro. You hurt me right now. What's it?
Well, I mean, Street Fighter 6 my game, but I gave it also its faults as well too. But
Nah.
there's
Yep.
faults for modern fighting game doesn't mean it's like a perfect fighting game. It doesn't mean this is the perfect fighting game or anything like that. There's still faults and everything, but it's definitely an improvement. And still, even now, like you mentioned, can modern fighting games still be improved? Oh yeah, 100%. All the games that we mentioned that are popular right now can definitely 100% be improved in many ways.
Them $15 a turtle is crazy.
Bro, it's not even 50.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Tekken
Yeah.
8 is like 70 pounds, $70. I think it's more like for
Did
Tekken 8. Yeah.
did they even announce what kind of what kind of netcode that Tekken has?
Oh, see, this is the
Well,
problem.
It's
Yeah.
a Namco
Like,
rollback.
is it
well,
confirmed?
it's not Namco
Damn.
rollback,
Lord,
it's-
that
they-
you're
they
in
got-
this too?
They got
Damn.
they got Arika to help with rollback netcode, and Arika's really good with rollback netcode. So I just think they're just struggling right now because there has never been a successful online netcode for a Namco fighting game.
That's facts.
There's no successful one. Soul Calibur, Tekken, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I mean, where's rollback? I don't know. But
Next year, baby, 2024.
we might have Dragon Ball Fighter Z2 before rollback for Dragon Ball Fighter Z1. But yeah, I mean, who's counting, right?
Yeah, I also just think that, yeah, like most games now we're like on the surface level of like becoming the appealing to the audience outside of like the genre. I think we're finally like in that like outside of the water, right? Like we're like out, but there's still so many things that we have to do. So uh, it's really hard for me to say like are we in a perfect spot? We're in a pretty good spot because we're like we see the sunlight, not necessarily like we're in a place where everything is like good and gravy, like hooray for modern inputs, hooray for accessibility, but no ray for like other things like skins being like a turtle being $15 a turtle, like not even the pack, but single. And I think another thing that really bothered me is like, I love Street Fighter 6 and it's one of my favorite games right now. And like I was really disappointed when I was watching one of the things where they were talking about like the jukebox and I'm like, "Oh, I could just listen to any song and like play online." And that was not the case. I got really like I felt like I got betrayed, because when I play King of Fighters 15, when I hear the word jukebox, I'm like, oh, we could just use it anytime we want. We could just make a whole soundtrack, and that was not the case. All I heard was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, actually, you could change that. You just had to earn that cell phone, earn that music player.
Yeah, but
That takes a while. You gotta you gotta play World Tour mode.
That's
you beat World
crazy.
Tour mode, and then you get the ability to play music in the Battle Hub.
Yeah, but then after the Battle Hub and I sit down, I'm like, yo, let's game, right? And I want to hear my soundtrack, and that was not the case.
So,
I
wait,
mean, yeah, that's true.
Pain.
so are you lot not happy with the fact that obviously Capcom gave us these options, but you have to grind a mode that some people just wasn't interested in?
Well, it's not like they gave us like entirely the option. It's like one little thing. But let's say, for example, for a player like me, let's say if I don't go on Battle Hub and I just go straight to rank match, then that means that feature, I can't enjoy that.
You gotta work hard for it. That's not.
Yeah, you could work for it. Like, it's not saying that it's gone or it's impossible. You just have to just do what's needed to get what you want.
Yeah, but I'm saying like even if I did get it, would I be able to use that? Like, cause you know how you could go to Battle Lounge and like look for matches. Would I be able to use it there? Right.
I don't know if you can.
That's what I'm.
The music only works in the Battle Hub. So
That's
That's what he's
that's
saying.
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's unfortunate that I have to go to Battle Hub to like do it, but like in Battle Lounge, like so when I go to rank match, I go to Battle Lounge and then I just start rank and I go straight to training mode. And like within that whole segment, I can't use it. Like even if I unlocked it, I couldn't use it. I have to go.
you're
As
talking
a
about-
background
you're-
music.
Yeah, you're talking about when you're in training mode, waiting for your rank matches.
Yeah, or things, or even going to matches. I just wish I had that. I just wish I had a little
But
bit more.
isn't like okay, so I mean to play like Devil Advocates, right? King of Fighters 15 has this like jukebox mode, but it's not like the music goes to the next track. It plays the same song if whatever stage you're on. So you're still only getting one song, aren't you?
No, they actually made it random. So like now there's an icon with it random. So you just make a playlist, and like each time you play, even on the same stage, it changes.
It changes the music. But I'm saying like if you're in training mode waiting for matchmaking, which kind of takes a while, right? In King of Fighters 15, you would only still get that one song.
No, it will change. If you hit restart, it will change.
Oh, so you have to hit restart.
Yes.
Okay.
But like, and when I mean restart, meaning like, you know how like when you press select and it like restarts like wherever.
Reset.
Yeah.
Like you're back in. You drop the combo or you whatever.
Yeah,
Reset. I get it.
It will reset the song. It will change a different song.
Okay. Nah, that's a good. It's good what you're saying. So like, I want to ask a question about like I want to move on, kind of in a different direction. So I want to ask about DLC. Now, in most games, fighting games with DLC, we now have to wait like I don't know, 8 seasons. So like for example, in spring we get a character, in winter we get a character, autumn, that type of we get one character per season, right? Do you agree with this type of structure? Because now Street Fighter 6 is doing it, Tekken 8 is following suit and they're doing it now. Do you believe it should be one per season? Do you think we should be getting more for the season pass? Because me personally, I think $25 for like 4 characters, it is a bit crazy,
It's kind of been like that since forever. Like Street Fighter 5 did that for every season as well too. I don't know.
Tekken 7.
Yeah. Tekken 7 did it. I think the
But-
natural thing to do. Like every 3 months, you get a new character. I don't know. I guess I'm used to that. I think that's fine for me. I guess.
So you don't think we should get more?
What I always tell people basically is that even though it definitely seems like a lot, I 100% understand it. It feels like a lot, but I think it's way, way, way better than having to wait a year for an on-disc balance patch with like 2 or 3 characters that you pay $40 to $50 for. I think it's more fair to either buy a battle pass or whatever for $25 for a year, or you pick and choose the characters you want, which means you're maybe paying like $5, than to have to buy a disc with new characters and slight balance changes for $40. Personally, because that's what people used to have to do. So I know it seems like a lot, and I think there are cases of games where like half the cast is DLC, which is kind of cap, and like the fact that you can't try out characters that are DLC is also kind of cap. But price wise, like raw numbers, I did this for a video before. Like I added up how much I spent on Blaze Blue versus Dragon Ball, and yeah, BB is the big one.
When you
one.
when you mentioned like the all this, I was like,
Wait,
you talking about Blaze?
Blaze
You talking about
Blaze
Blaze
Blue.
Blue?
It's
Yeah,
expensive. Blaze Blue.
Nah, Blaze Blue CS was a very expensive version
dude.
of the game.
Yeah,
What?
Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
I so it like these are lazy numbers, but it'd be like CT $60, then CS, which is the update, is $60,
see.
and then we got a free balance patch. Then we had to get extend, which is extra 40. So now
you
you're
mentioned
at
CS2.
Yeah, CS2 is a free patch. Oh no, on Xbox you could buy
No,
CS2.
it wasn't. You
On
had to buy
Xbox, you could
CS2.
buy.
Yeah, you had to buy it.
There's one console we had to buy CS2. There's one console where I had a patch, and I had it on both consoles. I
had
actually
it on
forgot.
Xbox.
Yeah. So you had to buy it for $40. So CS1 is you're already at $140 plus 60. So you're already at $200. Then Chrono Phantasma came out, which is $60 again. So you're at $260. And then that game has an extend version, so you're at $300. And then Central Fiction is $60 again, so you should at $360. For Dragon Ball, it's how many? Let's say up until I stop playing, so 3. Yeah, I think they technically have like they're on 4.5 or whatever. But just for the time I played 3 seasons. So you have 25, 50, 75 plus 60. So you're like in 150, 160-ish. So literally $200 less. So it feels really annoying, especially when you boot up the first time. You see all these Goku faces with a lock on top of them. So it feels bad, but it's actually better than what we used to have. It definitely, and the patches are free. The updates are free. Balance patches are free. So.
But what
You're talking about the 360 and PS3 era.
Yeah.
Like Street Fighter, vanilla Street Fighter 4. Then you had to buy Super, right? But then AE was free. 2012 was free, but then you had to buy Ultra, right? So then Marvel 3 also, there was vanilla, and then Ultimate Marvel 3 you got to buy a brand new game as well too. So that was definitely, I think it's definitely way better now for sure.
Damn, you're taking it back the errors, because that actually makes sense. Like obviously there were different versions of the game they kept on upgrading with a complete game plus some extra stuff. But like
that's where the meme came from, right? The meme of super ultra hyper Moon Street Fighter combo champion edition comes from those days. That's where the meme comes from.
But this is what I'm saying.
I get it.
I wanted to know, like, that. So, are you not just happy with how it is then, in terms of like this formula now, as in we get a character each season, or do you feel like maybe there should be more stuff added? Is what I was kind of like getting at, if that makes sense.
It could definitely be better. It could definitely be better.
I think Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1 they do a great job with just kind of bringing in more content, because like at least with Street Fighter 6, like let's say you don't know if you want to buy a character, you can rent a fighter. They have rent.
Oh, that was cool.
You could just rent a character that you don't have to see if you like them or not, right? So I think that's really cool, that you can just try them out before you actually spend money to buy, let's say, a Rashid or an Aki.
You can?
Yeah, there's a rental fighter ticket, like you get in the battle hub, and
Whoa.
you get in the battle hub. Yeah, you could just it's like little rent tickets, but obviously they run out and you have to earn them again just by playing in the battle hub, like playing matches in the lounge or getting kudos, which is like the currency in the battle lounge. You can get that and then buy stuff from the good shop, the good hub store or whatever, right?
Okay.
So they have stuff like that, and that changes every season as well too. They also add like new random events. Like they had running a tournament, you get X amount of kudos, you get double kudos. You play on the golden machine, you get double the points as well too, right? So there's lots of stuff that they do to keep people like interested with like new content, new fresh ideas. And Mortal Kombat 1, they obviously have the whole invasions thing, and they changed it, right? Like if first invasion was Scorpion as the boss, now it's Natara as the new invasions boss, and you can earn new skins and everything like that. So that's all free, right? And I think that's really cool. Obviously, the things that you do have to pay are kind of the characters, right? Characters or exclusive skins and everything like that. But in terms of in-game content, I mean, bro, you don't even need to buy all the other stuff. You could just be happy with the waiting for the season to end and get new in-game content so you can keep playing the game, right? So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I do. To be honest with you, like that part of the battle hub, I didn't even know about, and that's actually really
Yeah,
cool.
neither did I. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I've been banging Street Fighter 6, and I did not know that you can actually rent a character. That is insane.
Yeah. I never used it because I'm like in my head I'm just gonna buy the character regardless.
Mm,
But for
mm.
people
Yeah,
that are more casuals or like they don't know if they want to like really spend money on it, you could just use a rental ticket and then try them out. So, obviously you can only use it for two characters now, right? Just Rashid and Aki.
yeah,
But I mean you
Down
can
the
stack
line.
them up, right? You can stack them
yeah.
up
The
and
concept
then
is
use them
good.
later. Yeah, the concept is great.
Yeah, I agree with okay when like I don't like that companies like they're not it feels like they're not confident of like people trying out their DLC and like they just make the assumption like people are gonna like try it out and be like, oh, I don't want to buy it, right? Rather than like giving people a shot of like trying out these characters and then eventually like buying it. So I really like I like when companies are like confident like, yo, we got this DLC coming out, and like you could try them like 3 times, when it comes out, and then like you can sit in training mode, learn combos for free. But if you play like 3 matches, like or like 5 matches, oh, then you have to like buy it and things like that. Or like it resets like every season where you can like try these characters like 5 times and things like that. Like whatever it does to allow you to like keep trying without having to like pay, and then you possibly try you don't like them. I really hope that companies are like on the forefront of like doing that. It's that is so great for me.
Nice. All
Mm.
right. So a question I want to ask is, what would be the one thing that you lot would change about fighting games nowadays? Like, what would be the one thing you would implement in fighting games nowadays? So, like, is there something that is missing? Like, for me personally, I think fighting games having daily challenges, like, well, I know Street Fighter 6 has this where it has kind of like the daily challenge and stuff like that, but games like Tekken 8 don't have daily challenges, or kind of like rewarded weekly upgrades and stuff like that. Mortal Kombat, it has its stuff, and it has its invasion mode, but like stuff to keep me playing, keep me logged in, like maybe even
Oh,
like
yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like stuff
Yeah, you
resetting
you you
ranks and
you
stuff.
you want you want these games to be a gotcha game, like a mobile gotcha game where you have your dailies and your weeklies and you earn stuff from it. Yeah, that's
Eh,
what Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 6 are doing right now. They have dailies and weeklies and you get currency and you can buy stuff with it. Yeah, I mean that's a great idea. I think they've been doing that since Street Fighter 5 and Mortal Kombat 11 actually. So
they have. But
yeah, so
do you feel like there's anything that can be implemented on top of it? Because like my thing was, I would rather have more DLC. So like I'd say, in a game like Tekken, I would rather have maybe like 4 characters and maybe additional stages, rather than having just like 4 characters and that's it. Like Street Fighter 6 said they're gonna be having additional stages, but I've paid for that extra, stuff, and I still ain't seen the extra stages yet. So I'm a bit, do you know what I mean?
yeah, there's definitely pros and cons on both sides. Like Mortal Kombat 1 is it does such a better job at giving you like new stages, new skins for your character. So they do a great job at that. I would say though, I don't know. I feel like besides just being speedier when it comes to like little aesthetics as like new stages and new skins, I like the thing that Guilty Gear Strive did, where a lot of casual players were playing the game because it was hot because the online was amazing, but they also were like hey man, we just had this Arxis tournament, and guess what? Now you're like on the front page news, right? So I love that. I love the fact that the game showcased the fighting game community, because
Mm,
probably 90% of people that are playing these games casually, they probably don't even know that like who the players are, who that the FGC exists. So I think maybe having more news, like the Battle Hub is actually like a big news section, right? If you can just have like, oh, this person just won CPT France or whatever, or CPT Singapore, and just showcase like, the gameplay in the background of like the big screen, I think that would be really cool, right? Just have like a news section to kind of like showcase that. I think that would be pretty interesting, because it obviously will help the FGC as a whole, and get more eyes from the actual players playing the game.
that's actually a very good idea. So it kind of bridges the gap between the esports side of things and the casual side, because that's what they're essentially trying to do in with these games, right? That's why they're making the
Yeah,
controls more easier. They're trying to do these things, but it's like there's still something missing when it comes to
yeah, like
bridging the gap between
yeah,
esports and
because
pro players and
yeah,
casuals.
because yeah, because we have more fans now because of YouTube and Twitch and just stuff like that. But even then, like, that's still probably not people that are just casually just booting up the game just to play. Because a lot of people, they might not even search YouTube algorithm for tournaments or even check out Twitch, right? So if you have like, oh, this person won this tournament, and you have a news section and people click on it, then that's just bringing in more fans to the genre, right, to the space.
Justin, how do you feel if I because I have something in mind.
Mm.
I how do you feel about players and creators and like for various games getting together and doing like panels or like doing like a lot of like community events like charities and stuff like that together to kind of like get that like bridge that gap anymore? Do you feel like stuff like that would be more effective as well as like getting more people like just in the culture of
I
fighting
think
games?
I think collabing in general is always positive, right? It's always positive. It's always great. It's something that I think everyone like that's doing this podcast right now is striving for, right?
Mm.
Um, it's just kind of like, I don't know if it would still help with the game aspect. Like, I think like if the game company is not, let's say that the game company is like, hey man, like we have these four right here doing a charity stream, check them out, then that would be pretty cool. But besides that, we would still have to rely on our own fan bases, and kind of like, hopefully people on Twitter or YouTube or Twitch sees that we're doing something like that. But in terms of like the actual word of mouth or like marketing, like it would still require people from the community, but not from the casual side. I think that's the hard part, is getting the people that don't know anything, that just log on just to mash buttons to check it out. That's the thing that you want people to get more involved with, but I think that's the hard part, to try to get them in the know.
It's pretty interesting you're saying that, because for Tekken 8, I had an idea. Was this is something that I was gonna kind of like announce later on down the line, but I'll just say it here that I wanted to do like a Tekken 8 boot camp. So I wanted to get new players, casuals involved. Like I wanted to get like 30 players in like a Discord, and we will talk, and I tried to help them learn their characters and stuff like that. And then like at the end of it, I'll probably run it for like maybe a month to 3 months, and kind of like make them like enter tournaments, online tournaments, and then I either try and bring them to an offline tournament, if depending on how depending on if there is a local one in London or Birmingham or somewhere like that, or like run my own tournament and just see how they're progressing and stuff like that, and help them out, just to kind of give them that push up, because fighting games is brutal. It's like you go online, you go ranked, someone's comboing you, like you're at the wall, you don't know what to do. It's frustrating. There's no one really to help you in fighting games unless there's a tutorial, but even then a tutorial can't give you a mindset of how to get through certain setups,
Yeah.
mix-ups and stuff like that. So I was thinking of doing stuff like that, just to kind of like push a lot of like new people that want to get involved into Tekken. So I think stuff like that can kind of work with Street Fighter as well, 'cause I feel like Street Fighter, I can't play that game no longer than 3 hours. I feel like once it gets that 3 hour mark, I'm like, yeah, there's too much things to think about. Drive impact, drive rush, you're in the corner, what are you going to do? Is there going to be throw loops? Is there not going to be throw loops? you need someone to kind of help you, even though the game has, I personally think, a lot of great practice tools. I still feel like you still need someone that has that kind of high level mindset to kind of like coach you to get to that next level, even though there is easier controls, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just feel like, yeah, Street Fighter 6 someone said it in the chat, Street Fighter 6 mental stack is, yeah, it's not like Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5, you know, once you get into V trigger, yeah, you have to defend and stuff, but Street Fighter 6, at every given time, that drive rush can come at any time. Anything can come, and it's like you just have to be ready. So yeah, I feel like definitely it's, I would say, like, it's definitely like, I think the companies or the, you know, the developers should kind of like help bridge the gap. And again, with you saying like, you know, Guilty Gear Strive doing that feature, I think it would be good if in the future these, you know, fighting game developers do try to bridge the gap and kind of like, you know, just do something, even if there's like a news page, like, you know, if you want to see what's going on for, like, I don't know, Tekken World Tour, or, you know, the CPT and stuff like that, you know, that there's this page that just shows you, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, moving on, I'll say I've got one more question for you lot. The last question is online. Now, you guys are no strangers to, you know, online on the previous games. I'm more than sure you lot have played online games on the PS3 at some point. We're now in go ahead.
I actually have to step out, but I thank you so much for the invite here. I actually have to go. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're good. All right, take it easy, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so like, yeah, just to kind of wrap this one up. Online, obviously, before there was no crossplay, right? We're now getting into the era of crossplay, but we're still not in the era of cross progression. So for people that might not know that's watching this, cross progression in some games, you can, if you're playing on different consoles, as long as you have that username, you can kind of be like, you know, upgrading your rank and stuff, no matter what what console you're playing on, whether it's PC, PS5, Xbox Series X. Do you think we're ever going to get to that cross progression era? Is there other things with online that we need in fighting games?
I think out of all the things that fighting games need to improve, cross progression is extremely low on that list. I think there's a lot more important stuff to work on
Let me know.
than that.
Let me
you
know. Let me know.
I mean, one, all the games should have I mean, it's not even about what even just online means in fighting games, because I mean, the bare minimum for online has risen a lot in the past couple years, right? I'm not even talking about just online, just like features in the game. There's a lot of features in fighting games that should be worked on before like cross progression. You know, especially because fighting games is a game where it's like you don't upgrade your character. I mean, you could upgrade the appearance, obviously, you know, skins and all that, but you don't. Your character itself doesn't get better. It's like you get better. So if it was like some other genre of game where you have to like upgrade your character and stuff, it makes a lot of sense for that to be a priority. But in a genre where some of the games don't have crossplay yet, that is way higher a priority than cross progression. I'm saying.
No, definitely. Is there anything else that's missing? Like crossplay again, like it seems it's becoming a standard, right? Street Fighter 6 has it, Tekken 8 has it, Mortal Kombat 1 should have it, it doesn't have it. Grand Blue's latest game has it. So it's like, is there anything else that's like missing off that list? Because I can't really think of anything else.
Not a meme ranked would be nice, you know. So Street Fighter 6 has a nice rank, maybe not perfect, but compare like Guilty Gear. If you don't know, Guilty Gear has a fan website called Rating Update, and someone made an elo system for Guilty Gear because once you get the highest rank in Guilty Gear,
that's it, right?
It's that's it, yeah, basically. And you can't really tell how good people are just by looking at their accounts in the game. So someone made a fan ranked mode basically because the game's ranked mode doesn't have that thing that even it's a small percentage of players, right? It's like 6 or 7% of the player base have the top rank in Guilty Gear, but the fact that that was still needed or at least someone thought that was needed, is like a thing, right? So like not a meme ranked mode would be very nice, right? Every game having rollback, every game having crossplay, um, certain one player features. So like Street Fighter has World Tour, but Guilty Gear you watch a movie, but then like Mortal Kombat has an actual story mode.
I'm not
and
trying to
then
laugh when you say that, but it actually
I'm not lying. I'm being serious. You watch a movie. This is the one player mode in Guilty Gear Strive. There's two. There's mission mode, which teaches you the game in detail, and that's good. And then there's story. It says story mode, but I mean they're not kidding. They just tell you the story. You don't play an RPG like in Street Fighter. You just watch an anime. You watch an anime in the anime game for a few hours. I'm not kidding. I'm literally ask your chat. I'm not trolling.
No, I've seen it.
I'm not trolling you at all. You literally watched the movie.
I've literally seen it because I was
Yes.
like, oh, story mode. Yeah, I'm gonna get involved. And
Yeah.
for the whole time,
you just watched the movie.
That's crazy.
You watched the movie. So
That's crazy.
maybe make it not just. And I know it took a lot of effort too. It's a fully 3D anime style 3D movie, so obviously it took a lot of effort. But there's just more stuff. And I think every fighting game has their own things they're good at, so it kind of forces everyone to raise their level over time, right? Like y'all mentioned that like a good thing that Guilty Gear does is when there's a World Tour event for Guilty Gear and someone wins, you see it when you boot up online. You see like, oh, this guy just won the recent Guilty Gear World Tour event. But on minus side, our one player mode is an anime. So there's a movie that you just sit there, you do nothing, you eat some popcorn, right? Where being on Street Fighter has a whole, you make a custom character, you get to hang out with Chun-Li, and like there's memes and stuff. Like they got that, but then like that game has its own problems, and then Mortal Kombat has different frame data and damage and different versions. Where Guilty Gear and Street Fighter you can play crossplay no problem. Like every game, but then Mortal Kombat has great things about it too: the skins and the progressions. And that game has old school style unlocking, which some people complained about, but I actually think is cool as long as it's not like Smash Ultimate that was capped. But like outside of that, like just like a couple of things you unlock just by playing, I think is actually kind of cool. So every game has stuff they do well and stuff they don't do that well. So like everyone has to get their weak spots up first before they really start nitpicking, I think.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Nah, those are some very, very valid points, man. Justin, I want to hear your points because I know you want to say some stuff, man.
It's the same. I mean, like every fighting game, they do something right, but then there's also something wrong. Like there's no like this fighting game has every feature, right? Obviously, you talk about cross progression. Mortal Kombat 1 has cross progression, but they don't have cross play. Weird, right? Like I can have the same account on PC and then go on PS5, same account, but I can't play against my PC friends if I'm on PS5. Street Fighter 6 does not have cross-play progression, but it has cross-play. Same for like a lot of the other fighting games that we mentioned. Tekken 8, I don't even know. We won't know till January what Tekken 8 has.
I'm
right?
worried. I'm worried.
I'm worried too. I heard. Like I said, I heard the online was kind of sus, but who knows? We'll see. Personally, I would say the one thing that I would love more fighting games to implement for sure is online training mode. I feel like that is an amazing thing that Street Fighter 6 has done. The fact that when you're playing in Battle Lounge, you literally have 4 rooms. You could be like, bro, you can have 1v1-on-1 happen there. Next one, you can have extreme battles if you want. The third one, you can have online training mode, right? And then, so the fact that you can have a battle lounge and bring people in and they could choose whatever they want to play instead of just like King of the Hill style, where like, okay, after you lose, you go back in the queue and then you wait your turn again. Like that's what Mortal Kombat 1 does, right? But I think having a really good battle lounge, which gives people options to choose from, I think that's great. I think that's really good. So I think for Grand Blue they have an amazing upgraded lobby system where you have all these like arcade cabinets everywhere. It's really nice to kind of just like walk through it. You can play soccer if you want in the battle hub. I think that's really cool. Even different modes, right? I think Grand Blue seems like it's the first game that I could think of that had a completely different mode that's not fighting. They have a Fall Guys mode called Grand Bruise mode where you have 30 players come in and play these little fun mini games to see who's the best at it, right? So they added a completely brand new online multiplayer game that's not in a fighting game, right? It's just a brand new thing. If we have, so if Street Fighter 6 version of it's like Avatar Battles or Extreme Battle, it's still fighting, right? You're still playing Street Fighter. Like if you suck at fighting games, you still won't beat me in these silly modes because it's still a fighting game. But you might be a way better Fall Guys player than me playing these mini games and beat my ass, right? So I think adding more stuff for people to play, like let's say if fighting games, you love this fighting game, but you're like a lot of people, they're big fans of Grand Blue Fantasy because they probably played a mobile game, RPG or whatever. But they're like, bro, I don't want to play a fighting game because I suck at it. Well, guess what? Grand Blues knows has a Fall Guys mode, and you could just play that instead. So I think that's a really cool aspect. But like Lauren and I said, this game has this, another game has that, but this game also has cons on this. They just need to finally work together and just be like, you know what? These are the modes I offer. These are the modes that you offer. Let's just put all this modes in one game, and everyone can stop complaining, right? So, but we'll see. We'll see one day.
No, definitely, those are very, very good points. I think to wrap it up, I'll just give my thoughts. I feel like the way our fighting games are going, we kind of had the direction of like back in the day, like I'm talking PS1, like rival schools had loads of different mini games and stuff like that. Tekken 3 had it, Tekken Force, Tekken Ball. Like they actually took a risk with creating their own unique modes. And then I feel like for a period of time, like they kind of played it safe, where it was just like, arcade versus online. That's it. But now it feels like it's gone back to, let's take a risk. Let's make a mini game for people to play. And that's why you're seeing, Invasion and MK1. To be honest, Mortal Kombat has always been good with having a kind of like side game compared to the main thing. It's always been good. Obviously, Street Fighter 5 was okay. Obviously, it had the story mode, which, it was alright. But then obviously Street Fighter 6 now, you've got the Battle Hub, World Tour mode. Then you've got like, a flurry of other stuff like extreme matches where you've got like all the mini games you can play. It's got great, online custom match, ranked match, all of that stuff. It's pretty cool. And then obviously Tekken, again, I'm worried I don't know that's going to come with, but I can only hope it's going to come with good stuff. I think moving forward with fighting games, I feel like they're moving in the right direction. They're coming with simple controls. Tekken 8's got like special style, which is like simple controls for people that are casuals. Street Fighter 6 has got modern, dynamic. There's other games now coming with stuff. Again, like you said, Grand Blue's got like a Fall Guys type of mode. I feel like we're in a very good era for fighting games at the minute. I feel like maybe some of the games, I feel like King of Fighters doesn't really like. I love King of Fighters. I'm a huge fan of the SNK games, but I don't feel like King of Fighters has what it takes to grasp new players into it. I still feel like it's pretty hard for people to get involved in. Even though it has auto combos, I still think it's pretty hard to kind of get a grasp into. Having said that, I hope the new Garou game has something that's kind of like an easy entry for people to get involved in. Because like I said, I really want people to get involved in SNK games. I think they're a massive influence for me being even here. My first game was King of Fighters 97, right? I really do love the SNK games, but I just feel like they're not easily accessible for people because they're quite hard. But yeah, to wrap this up, thank you very much, Lord Knight. Justin Wong, appreciate you as well. Where can they find you, Lord Knight, on the social media?
I mainly use Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm gonna say Twitter because when people send me links to Twitter and it says x.com, the first time I was like, bro, you sent me a virus. So I'm on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So Lord Knight BB on Twitter, Lord Knight on Twitch. It's at Lord Knight FGC on YouTube. I'm sorry that they all have different names, but blame Ragnarok Online, not me. I never played that game, so there's always some person who has Lord Knight on almost every website before me. So, sorry.
It's cool, man. Justin, where can they find you, bro?
Yeah, you could just find me on JWong3Gs on Twitter, uh, IG, and Twitch. For YouTube, just type in Justin Wong and channel should pop up. But yeah, pretty easy. I think pretty easy to find me.
What is the thing with the 3Gs? Is it Justin Wong GG, as in good games? Or is it just, you just have the
I
3Gs?
wanted J Wong. It was taken, so I was like, all right. So I'll just add another G to it. That was taken. J Wong G was taken, so I was like, all right. So let me try J Wong GG. That was not taken. So there you have it. I
There's
was gonna keep going until it was gonna work.
Yep.
Nah, I hear it. I hear it. Okay, so that's the law behind it. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, you lot. Thank you lot very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Obviously, I know the America and the UK time is completely different, but we managed to
good.
make it work. And yeah, man, I appreciate lots of time, man. It means a lot. Thank you lot very much, man, for doing the podcast.
All right.
Thank you.
All right,
Bomb. Have a good one.
all right,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. Take it easy.
Peace, bro.
Cheers.
Yep.
Peace. All right, then.